everyone, and welcome to our second annual high school conference. Thank you for joining us today. We are so excited to have you here. While we're still waiting for people to join, we kind of wanted to do a little pre-program activity to get to know you all better. So if you can you let us know where you're joining us from today? If you can find the corresponding emoji to your location and drop that in the chat, we'd love to see where you guys are all from. And you can also drop the name of your high school in the chat to see if there's any commonalities amongst you guys. I can see that we have some from Silicon Valley and Northern California so far. Welcome to anyone just joining us. If you can, find the emoji of where you're from and drop it in the chat. We got one from West California, one from SoCal. And if you want, you can also drop the high school and the name of your high school in the chat. Thank you all so much for participating. I'm personally from NorCal, but UCLA is in SoCal and my heart is in SoCal. So it's lovely to see where all you guys are coming from. I will now pass it off to Erica, one of our amazing STOMP supervisors, to open up our conference.
Thank you so much, Kelsey. Hi, everyone, and welcome to STOMP's second annual high school conference, highlighting community college as a first choice. We are very delighted to have you all. It's not just myself. We are a group of STOMP co-supervisors, the coordinators that you'll get to meet today. So we really want to thank you for taking this time out of your day and joining us. We know it's in the evening and you could have been doing other things, but yet here you are getting this information. And I promise you that by the time that we end this presentation, it's going to be a lot of knowledge for yourselves, and hopefully you share it with your friends as well. But before I get started, I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge Giorgio, Kelsey, and Madison, who are current transfer students, and they are also STOMP's coordinators and key planners of this conference today. So shout out to them. We can show them some love with them, some emoji. That would be amazing. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you a little bit of what to expect today. This event will allow you to learn more about the community college pathway to the University of California. So without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce to you all the rest of the team. Let's start with myself, of course. My name is Erika Perez, and I am one of the assistant directors of transfer recruitment. And again, I'm also one of the STOMP supervisors. So fun fact about myself, I am a product of LUSD, of Los Angeles Unified School District. And I was also a transfer student myself, and also a UC alum. So I actually attended East Los Angeles College in the city of East LA, and then I ended up transferring to the University of California, Riverside. So very proud to be a product of the UC system, and of course, returning to UCLA as a professional and giving back to the transfer community. So it is an honor for me, again, to welcome you all today. Again, I am here joined by my colleagues alongside our amazing STOMP coordinators, who you will meet in just a second. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Diana.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, welcome again to the second annual high school conference. My name is Diana Elizabeth Torres. I'm also an assistant director in transfer recruitment and a STOMP co-supervisor. Thank you all for joining us today. I'm super excited for you all to learn all about the community college system, knowing that this is an option for you. And throughout the whole session, if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask us through the Q&A feature that's located at the bottom of the Zoom window. Just to share a little bit about myself, I am also a proud UC alum from UC Santa Cruz, and I have been working within admissions for the last few years, working alongside all of you amazing students. So I really hope that you enjoy this program. And again, any questions that you have throughout the session, use that Q&A function. And with that, I will pass it on to my colleague.
Hello and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Diana Rivas. I am also one of the assistant directors for transfer recruitment, and I'm also one of the STOMP supervisors. Like everyone has said, thank you so much for joining us today. I am also a proud UC alumni, and I'm really excited to share information about how you can attend a UC as well. And so now I'd like to turn it over to our amazing STOMP coordinators that planned this whole conference for you all.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy you are all here today. My name is Giorgio. I'm one of the STOMP coordinators. I transferred from a community college here in San Diego known as San Diego Miramar College. I'm currently a third-year transfer here at UCLA, majoring in sociology and minor education. You'll hear more about me towards the end of the conference with our student panel. But again, super excited to have you all here today. And with that, I'll pass it to my colleague, Kelsey.
Thank you so much. I'm also super excited to see you guys all here today. My name is Kelsey. I'm from the College of San Mateo. That's where I transferred from up in the Bay Area. And I'm a second-year transfer here at UCLA. And I'm a double major with communications and gender studies. I will now pass it off to my co-coordinator, Madison.
Thank you, Kelsey. Hi, everyone. My name is Madison Wade. I am also a STOMP co-coordinator. I transferred from Moorpark Community College, which is in Ventura County, so pretty close to Los Angeles. And I'm now entering my second year at UCLA, and I'm a biology major and a biomedical research minor. Now I will pass it off to Deanna.
Thank you, Maddie. So before we get started, we would like to give and honor, right, those that have occupied the land before us. So as a land grant institution, UCLA acknowledges the Gabalino and Tongva peoples as the traditional land takers of Tovangar, which includes the Los Angeles Basin as well as Southern Channel Islands. And with that, I will pass it back to Maddie.
Hi, everybody. It's my pleasure to be with you this evening. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us. My name is Annie Huerta. I am the Associate Director of Domestic Recruitment for UCLA Undergraduate Admission, and I too am a proud UCLA alum. I graduated from UCLA back in 1996 with a degree in political science, and I have spent more than half my lifetime on this college campus. I was the first in my family to go to college, and while my parents were very supportive of my academic goals, they did not necessarily have the tools or the information to be able to guide me through the college preparation process. But like you have done today, I took advantage of the opportunities to attend workshops, to participate in presentations, to really learn about the requirements and how I could better prepare myself to be a competitive applicant to UCLA. So kudos to you for making it out tonight, for taking time to join us and to get all this wonderful information. Now, as you think about your prospective transfer student path, know that you will bring a wealth of diverse life experiences and perspectives, which contribute to the richness of the universities. Also, we want you to know that we are ready to welcome you enthusiastically to our campus community. We actually enroll more transfer students than any other elite university in the country. Every year, we bring one transfer student in for every 2 freshman students that we bring into the university. So about 1/3 of all of our incoming students every year are transfer students. We offer a wide range of transfer-specific programs, resources, and many different events, and we are committed to your success. UCLA has been ranked as the #1 public research university in the nation for 5 years now. We have abundant academic opportunities, including research, studying abroad. We offer over 125 majors, over 90 minors. We also have some great opportunities for you to get involved outside of the classroom. So you can join any one of our over 1,000 student clubs, including STOMP, the students who are putting this program on together for you. And you can also participate in cultural and athletic events. And as you embark on your higher education journey, know that there are many different routes and paths that you can take to enter either the University of California, one of our other 9 campuses, or UCLA. And ultimately, all those different paths and routes will help you achieve the same goal of earning a bachelor's degree. I hope that you stay in touch with us and that you continue to join us at future programs. I also want to personally invite you to attend our fall open house, which will be taking place on Saturday, October 8th. It is an in-person event. We're going to have a lot of presentations, campus tours, different colleagues from throughout campus are going to join us. And this is the first year that we're returning to an in-person open house after having been in a virtual environment for the past 2 years. So you can find out more information about that online. I'm going to put a link where we will be taking reservations. We're not quite ready yet, but in the next few weeks, we'll be able to start taking reservations. And because you have reserved a space, you made a reservation and you are here today, you are going to be getting that personal invitation as well. So once again, thank you so much for being here today. And thank you to our coordinators and our supervisors who have made this program possible. I hope that you enjoy the wonderful program that we have lined up for you.
Thank you so much, Annie, for that wonderful welcome. Thank you for welcoming all of our students. Being a transfer student is definitely an incredible and rewarding experience. There's, like Annie said, so many resources and services to support your transfer journey from community college to the University of California. So we hope that you continue learning more about through this program. So now with that, I will now officially pass it to Giorgio.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Annie. Thank you so much, Diana. So all of you attendees may be wondering, what is this organization STOMP? What does it stand for? Who are we? What do we do? So STOMP actually stands for Student Transfer Outreach and Mentor Program. And we're an organization in UCLA undergraduate admissions that is student-led by transfers for transfers. Our work aims to be an outreach service to current and prospective community college students that shares and highlights the many advantages of the community college route, all while encouraging the transfer process to any of the University of California campuses. Now, how do we do this? Well, we have 3 aspects of our club. So next slide, please. So first we have our club component. So this is where we garner any current UCLA student, doesn't have to be a transfer student, to help with planning and executing with our annual spring conference, which I'll talk about, volunteering as panelists for our outreach presentations that we hold in fall, winter, even the summer right now, or for some of you fall since you're already starting school, and supporting the overall transfer community by being a safe space to socialize and support other transfers in their UCLA journey. Second, our annual STOMP conference in spring promotes the transfer process to all UC schools, so not just UCLA, but actually all the 9 UCs, by giving students the chance to hear from admission representatives from each UC campus and hearing from current UC transfer students themselves throughout different campuses. This year too, as Annie said with the fall open house, we're aiming to have it return to an in-person STOMP conference. This past 2 years it's been virtual. But this year will be a hybrid format conference, so definitely follow our social medias to be up to date. We'll have that all at the very end, so be sure to stick around and stay connected. And then lastly, STOMP does outreach to California community colleges and high schools to best equip you with the tools and knowledge available to you at your community college, and by sharing the transfer experience by hearing directly from our club volunteers who are current UCLA transfer students. Now, with all that said, now you know who STOMP is. We want you to get a little engaged with us, so to hear from you all today. So I'll be passing it over to Maddie with our little activity for you all.
Thank you so much, Giorgio. That was awesome. So before we have our guest speaker for today get started, we're going to do a little fun activity. If everyone can get their phone out and scan the QR code on the screen, or if you can click the link that will be sent in the chat soon, we're going to do a word cloud activity where everyone's going to say the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the word community college. And then as you guys type in those words, they will start to appear on the screen. So we have our first one, opportunity. This one's great. So the link was just sent in the chat. If you guys can click on it. Awesome. We got growth now. These are all very, very true. Connection. Diversity. Exactly. Economic. Yes, it's very financially affordable. Networking. Yes, you can definitely meet a lot of people that you can stay in contact with for a long time. New opportunities. Yes. Welcoming. Yes, community college is extremely welcoming. Second chance. It definitely is a second chance. But it's also a first option as well. Rewarding, supportive. Yes, these are all great. These are all great answers, guys. And we're still getting some more. Preparation. Yes, it does prepare you. Awesome. These are so great. All right, let's see. Are there any more? All right, well, maybe we can switch back to our presentation. These were all such great things that we're so happy that they come to your mind when you think of community college, because these are all exactly what is so true about community college. All right, and our main goal of today is to try to debunk a lot of common myths that are associated with community college. I know when I was in high school, I definitely believed a lot of the myths, but our goal is to try to debunk all of them and demystify the community college pathway. So some things that we want you guys to understand. The first being that community colleges will prepare you for the academic rigor of a UC. Many community colleges have honors programs where you can take honors classes that will challenge you academically. And also the majority of the professors that teach at community college also teach at a four-year university. So you're getting the same professors teaching you the same material. The second thing is that counselors and programs are available to help you transfer. You will not be alone in this process. And later on in this presentation, we will even discuss a lot of these programs that are available to you. The third is that you create your own transfer timeline. When you first enter community college, you will meet one-on-one with your counselor and you will tell them how many years you want to be at community college before you transfer. And they will sit down and help you schedule all your classes that you're going to take every single semester to be able to transfer in the time that you want. And lastly, you can have the student life experience at a community college. Community colleges have many different student organizations that can help you succeed academically, professionally, and personally. And with that, these are just a few of the many myths we hope to debunk to you guys today. And now I will pass it on to Kelsey, who will introduce our guest speaker.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Maddie. So now I have the pleasure of introducing our guest speaker, Mr. David Lederman, who I personally worked with. He comes from my community college, College of San Mateo, and he will be sharing some valuable information as you explore and plan for your transfer journey.
Sorry. Hi there, everybody. Thank you, Kelsey. Thanks to the STOMP team for inviting me to this, and really nice to be here with all of you prospective students. And you've done a great job setting up the whole community college UC connection. So I'm going to kind of segue from that and just, speak for a few minutes about my experiences and a lot of the advantages, I think, that I kind of just want to share with you. So I teach film studies at the College of San Mateo, and I also coordinate the honors program there, which is called the Honors Project. And the thing is, I've also, as Madison already suggested, I've taught at a lot of other places while I've been teaching at College of San Mateo. I've been at the College of San Mateo for about a little over 25 years, so quite a while. But I've also taught at San Francisco State University, CSU, and I've taught at UC Davis, and I've also taught at Stanford University. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I have a pretty broad and wide-ranging experience across the spectrum of private universities, community colleges, CSUs and UCs. So I have a lot of experience with that. And I guess what I would say to start things off is really the beauty of the community college experience for students and faculty is threefold, I would say. One is It's very cost effective. It's really affordable, and that is important. Secondly, there's a really strong emphasis on teaching. And I'll talk a little bit more about that, but the teaching student connection is very strong, and that's a main emphasis of the community college. And then the third thing would be there's just a really strong web of support and additional services to kind of help you as you're there figure things out. I think it's a great thing the way the community college emphasizes sort of how to be a college student. Yes, you're taking your classes in your subjects so you can transfer, but you're also learning how to be a college student, and that's not a given. That's not a no-brainer. That doesn't just automatically happen, right? You're getting that as part of your experience. So it's a really important transition, I think, from high school to college, university. It has a lot of advantages in that middle zone, if you will. So just turning to the slide up on the screen, and maybe starting with some of the nuts and bolts about the community college system. It's in California, it's the largest system in the world. They as you can see, they serve millions of students. There's hundreds of campuses, and there's different programs at different campuses, so you have a lot of choices for starting your academic journey. The community colleges do offer degrees, associate degrees, and there's a general associate degree, and there's also an associate degree for transfer that right now is lined up with the CSU, Cal State Universities. But I think the main point here is that while you're taking all your transfer preparation courses, so you can transfer wherever you want to, you can also be earning a degree, and that just adds to your portfolio, if you will. It adds to your resume. And just today, as a little digression, I was talking with a professor, a math professor, who we want to get involved in our honors program. And I was asking him about his background, and he mentioned that he had an AA in physics, right, from a community college, and that's going to help him work for us. So that's just one example of like how these things really, it's all additive. It's win-win. So you can get the degree and you can transfer. Of course, many students don't get the AA degree and they're fine just transferring, but they overlap quite a bit. So that's a good advantage. And there's lots of financial aid opportunities to support you while you're there. I'm going to talk about that too in a minute. And a lot of first generation students. Definitely community colleges are the most diverse population that I've worked with, right? There's lots of diversity in different ways at other colleges and universities, but the community college, it's just going to make you a more well-rounded global citizen, which is going to make you a better student and just help you along the way in your journey. So, though, again, that's kind of like the nuts and bolts, but on another level, maybe a more holistic level, the community colleges, the classes are going to be smaller overall. The instructors, like myself and a lot of my colleagues, are dedicated to teaching in a way that you don't always find at a four-year university, at a Research One university or a private university. It's nothing against those instructors, but their job is to teach and to publish and to serve the university, right? So, and they're big universities, and there's a lot of things that those professors have to do. At a community college, our main charge is to be working with you, the students, and teaching you, and you teaching us, and supporting you. So in a way, there's more support. There's less pressure, I think, than there might be at a UC campus if you just start right out of high school. And there's more, I think, time and space to sort of explore your interests. You know, you're going to hear a lot of professors say, oh, when I first started college, I changed my major 3 times. And when I first started college, I did change my major 3 or 4 times before I found my game, my groove. And so a community college, I think, is a better space for that kind of exploration and trying things out. As I mentioned, it's also like a smarter financial option. Many of the community colleges, as you can see on the slide here, they have something called the California Promise program, which is basically the bottom line provides full tuition payment for at least the first year, provides funding for textbooks, and it provides you with, sort of intrusive, contact with a counselor. When you hear intrusive, it's a good thing, right? Not a bad thing. That means that you have you're set up with a counselor that you're meeting with all the time. Each community college has their own spin on the Promise program. Some have transportation assistance, some give you priority registration. Here at CSM, the College of San Mateo, our program, first of all, just as an example, can cover your tuition for all 3 years. They have what they call engagement gifts. So if you do things on campus, they'll give you some money. So like I say, each college has their own Promise program, and it's a good, the idea is to really make as much as possible outside of the classroom, like everyday life, money, transportation, make that as, cover that and support that as much as possible. So that's a good advantage. And, some of you probably know, it's been in the news a lot, the student loans, right? And President Biden just announced this business of forgiving some student loan debt. So I bring that up just to make the connection that if you do a community college, you're going to be saving a lot of money, and you will not get in debt or as much as you might from student loans. And if your parents have a college fund, they can use more of that for upper division and for grad school. So there's that advantage. Moving on to the next slide, I would say that this is, really the heart and soul of the advantages of being at a community college for your first couple of years. There's just, there's a really strong sense of community, right? That's part of the reason why they are called community colleges. There are student clubs that you can join that are just, I don't know what to say. They're awesome. They're just, there's all different kinds of clubs on our campus, and they're doing things all year, activities, volunteer in the community, academic support type engagements. There's a whole wide variety, we have an anime club that's really popular, connected with our film program. There's, you can get involved in sports. A lot of students that I come in contact with, they get involved in student government. And I think that's a really cool thing to do. Some of you may have done that in high school, but you're attending the school, but you're also part of the institutional sort of political process of how the school runs. So that's always a valuable experience. Again, sort of running alongside getting good grades in your classes. You're getting all these other touches that will stay with you to transfer and beyond. I am involved in the honors program, and you can see there are other learning communities on most campuses, and our honors program is a learning community. And I don't know what to say. I mean, we just we get students who just want to get more out of their academic experience. We have research seminars that sort of train students how to do upper division and graduate level work. They present their work. There's a lot of collaboration. It's very interdisciplinary in our program. And I think a lot of honors programs these days emphasize all that. And, I tell my students, the UCs love that kind of thing. Any higher education university really is interested in project-based learning and applied research and collaboration and crossing disciplines, right? So our honors program really trains students for moving on to transfer. But any of the other learning communities do the same kind of thing. Puente is, geared towards Latinx students and Latinx study. You don't have to be of that ethnic identity to join these. You just have to be interested. And so that's great. And that's very much what it's like. It's all kind of open and inclusive and welcoming. The Umoja learning community geared towards African-American students and experience and study. And all of these have counseling support, have social activities they do, and emphasize bringing out the scholar inside of you, like what you're interested in, making that connect with your classes so it's more meaningful. And then again, you can carry that forward because it's coming from who you are and your background, but it's fusing with what you've studied. And that's, that's gold. That's precious, not just for transferring and for your resume, but for as a kind of life lesson experience. Anyway, I'm just about done here, and thanks for for listening to me. And sorry to be rambling a bit, but I would just conclude by saying that just think on the community college as a really like substantial, robust chapter or piece of your academic journey, as a bridge and as something that will stay with you all the time. I know with our students, when they transfer, they do really well. We get students sometimes at the community college. I think it was already alluded to by one of the other student speakers, who went out of high school and just weren't ready to go to UCLA or UC Berkeley or Stanford, and kind of crashed and burned and starting over at the community college. And of course, that's okay. And some students are going to be fine doing that. But I think overall, if you look at all the advantages, it's a great pathway. So on that, I want to, again, thank everybody for listening and thank the team. Thanks for putting up with me and inviting me here. And I am going to turn it back over to one of the other speakers. Thanks, guys.
Perfect. Thank you so much, David, for discussing all the amazing resources that community college has to offer, as well as your amazing words of advice. Now that you've all heard a little bit about community college from a personal advocate, let's talk about the many different pathways to getting into the UC system. I'd like to turn it over to Erica.
Thank you, Kelsey. Okay. All righty, here we go. So I just want to make sure I'm visible, just because I wasn't seeing myself, but here I am. So let's talk about pathways to the University of California. So you heard a little bit about, some of the resources that we've been highlighting. You heard about the community college system, right? We just learned about some fun facts, right? What the community college system consists of. But then now we're going to talk a little bit more about how do we get, from community college to the University of California. What are some of those, key terms that we want you to start knowing early on? For those of you who are exploring and still thinking about it, right? There's definitely a lot to learn, and we're here to kind of, create that awareness. Again, we want you to, if community college is your first choice, just know that community college is real college, right? So know that there are a lot of resources to, one, help and support you academically, professionally, and personally as well. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and talk about the UC system. Okay, as you can see on this slide, there are 9 UC campuses that offer undergraduate programs. You may be familiar with these, right? We have UC Berkeley, UC Santa Cruz, UC Davis, UC Merced, UC Irvine, UCLA, UC Santa Barbara, UC San Diego, UC Riverside, right? And they're all over California, right up north and SoCal. So each one of these UCs, right? They are, amongst the best in the world, right? Every UC has a lot to offer. They are, their location is, they're located everywhere. Some are near, nature, some are near the beach. So it really depends what you want and what you're looking for as you're preparing to transfer from community college to the UC system. So we do invite you to explore all the campuses and consider all the options when it comes to applying as a transfer student. And of course, as we're going through the slides, you'll be able to learn more with us and explore the University of California. All right, and with that said, okay, now let's talk about how do we get to obtain a UC degree. So as you notice on the screen, there are 2 paths you can take to obtain a UCLA degree, right? So one path, which is on the left-hand side, it is known as the freshman path, which you may all be familiar with, right? So this is when you apply as a senior in high school. And another path, right, that you see here is highlighted on the right side, right? So it's also highlighted in yellow, and that is the transfer path, and which is one thing that we are focusing on today and highlighting today, right? Because this is when you attend community college after high school. So we want you to know that whichever path you do decide to take, all right, either freshman or transfer, it will prepare you for the major of your choice and ultimately lead to a UC degree, right? And again, going to community college, remember, it is definitely okay to have it as a first choice. And if that's something that you decide to do, don't forget, there is definitely room for a lot of transfer pride, right? And a lot of things, a lot of good things to do. All right. So again, regardless of the path, if you do decide to do the transfer route, the first 2 years or so, you will be completing your lower division, such as your general education and your major prep courses, which I'm going to talk about more on the other slide. But again, this is for your reference and to know, right? There are 2 ways to earn a UC degree. All right, and going on to the next slide. All right. So UC transfer admission requirements. So now that you know, right, that one of those pathways to earning a UC degree is through the transfer pathway, let's talk about what the transfer path looks like. So these are some things I want you all to consider and take in mind, right, as you are beginning to prepare to graduate high school, come into community college. These are things you want to highlight and know, right? This is a terminology you're going to begin hearing at community college, right? So feel free to take a screenshot of this and start getting familiar with this. But real quick, right? You will need 60 semesters, 90 quarter UC transferable units. Don't worry, this might sound like, oh, how am I going to get those? How do I know what courses? Don't worry, you'll have a counselor that will work alongside you, that will help you plan for those general ed courses, right? So once you have in mind what major you want to choose, they will sit down with you, right? And prepare you to earn these units, right? And to get ready to transfer. Just know that you do have to have a minimum of a 2.4 GPA or better for UC eligibility, but we're always going to recommend stay above the 3.0 because every UC has a different minimum GPA. So depending what UC you want to transfer to, every UC is going to be different in terms of the minimum GPA. So we got to be aware of that, okay? And then of course, there's some classes that you have to fulfill known as the UC 7 course pattern. That's something you're also going to work alongside your counselors, and classes to meet the major prep courses. Okay, these are classes that are needed for the major that you are trying to pursue once you transfer. Just know that within the UC system, we do a comprehensive review. So we look at everything that has to do within your community college. We're no longer looking at your high school courses, right? We're looking at everything that has to do with community college, your involvement, and who you are as a student within the community college path, right? And of course, every UC is going to be different, how they select their students, right? When you're applying as a transfer student, there's different selection criteria. But that's why it is important that you work alongside the community college counselor to help you meet all of these requirements and become a competitive applicant. All right. And moving on, these are two resources that we really want you to get familiar with. Assist.org. It's a tool that you're going to use, right, to help you understand the classes that you need to complete for the major that you decide and the UC campus that you decide to pursue. So remember, you can apply to all the UCs if you wanted to. Yes, that's something you could do, but just don't forget that there might be different requirements for each UC when it comes to classes for your major. So very important, don't forget, work alongside your counselors. And there's another tool. We have the UC Transfer Admission Planner tool. This tool is great. We definitely recommend it. So as you are navigating the community college pathway, use this tool to report all of your courses. It's kind of like an agenda. You track your courses, but the beauty of this is that whenever you want to talk to any of the UC admission reps that come out to the community colleges, you can let us know, hey, can we do a one-on-one appointment? We're going to ask you, do you have this account? Great. We're going to pull up your coursework and ensure that you have everything that you need to be a competitive applicant as a transfer student. And aside of that, you actually need this account to apply to a great program that the UC system offers, which is a transfer admission guarantee program. So, you know, this is another program that we want you to be aware of, right? Here is a great opportunity within the UC system that is offered to all the community college students, okay? Of course, there are certain requirements that you have to follow to be eligible. But just know that through the transfer admission guarantee program, you are guaranteed admission to one of the 6 UC campuses that are listed down there. So the campuses that you see on this slide, through this program, if you follow all the requirements, you will be guaranteed admission, okay? It's only the campuses that are listed on this slide. So you're gonna be able to choose a campus, complete the tag application, which is, you know, that would be the TAP application that I just shared with you all. And then, of course, you're going to have to complete a minimum GPA and courses and submit the application for free. Of course, this one is, there's no cost to it, but this is a great program for all you students who are going to be attending community college and are interested in getting a guaranteed admission to one of the 6 UC campuses that participate, okay? So again, this is a little bit of, you know, the transfer pathway, how to get to the UC system. But now it's time for the best part of this webinar, which is that's the moment we're all been waiting for. And that is to hear a little bit more of the staff coordinators, where you'll get to learn more about their transfer journey, ask questions, and really get to see and get a sense of their experience throughout. So I'm going to go ahead and let Diana take it away from here. She's going to be facilitating the panel. And don't forget to ask questions, okay? They will be answering them on the Q&A. All right. And Diana will take over from here.
Thank you, Erika, for giving us that brief overview of how to get to a UC. So next, we have the pleasure of having our student panel, which will include our amazing coordinators. So I'm going to pass it over to Giorgio, who will tell you a little bit about himself.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Erica and Diana. So hi, everyone, again. I'm one of the coordinators, Giorgio, currently majoring in sociology at UCLA and minoring in education. I'm in my 3rd year here. I'm taking an extra year, actually, so that's why I'm a 3rd year transfer. But I did come from a community college in San Diego known as San Diego Miramar College. And I was very involved with a lot of the programs that David did mention during his little spiel about what's available to y'all at community college. So first, I was actually an outreach ambassador / mentor. So I worked an on-campus job where I was actually a mentor to first-year promise students and an ambassador representative. So going to outreach events such as community college fairs. If students wanted to tour the campus, I was able to provide a campus tour. I was also involved with the honors program, which also got me into UCLA TAP. So UCLA TAP stands for transfer. I I actually forget exactly what it stands for, but basically what it does is if you get 15 units of honors credits at your community college, you get TAP distinction in your actual application to UCLA. Although it's not like TAG, a lot of acronyms here, although it's not like TAG where you get guaranteed admission, it does make you a little bit more distinct in the competitive field, making you look a little bit more, again, competitive amongst other applicants. I was also involved with the Promise program that David mentioned. So I did get free admission during my free tuition during my first 2 years there. That's where I actually got paired with a mentor in my first year who actually told me to apply that outreach job because she thought it would be a good fit for me. So that's where I actually found that connection and applied to it. Next, I was also part of a program called Path. So this was actually with UCSD. They had the community college and UCSD kind of partnership known as Preparing Accomplished Transfers to the Humanities, where I was actually able to study with an acting professor because that's something I started delving into community college, and actually receive a hefty scholarship and just do a little bit of research under his wing. So really, really cool program that I was able to be a part of. Also, I did study abroad while at community college, something that I would have never thought been available to me at a community college because that is something I wanted to do while in college. I only thought it was available to me at a university when I transferred out. However, when I did find out it was available in my community college, I definitely took a part of it as soon as I could. I studied abroad in Madrid, Spain in summer 2019, and then January 2020, right before the pandemic, I luckily studied in Cusco, Peru, both for Spanish, which were both great experiences. And then lastly, I actually was able to complete 3 associate degrees and a certificate of global honors competency. So lots of, again, opportunities available at Miramar College. And also I've been notified that TAP stands for the Transfer Alliance Program. I do remember now, thank you, Kelsey. So that is something to look into if you're interested in transferring to UCLA, the Transfer Alliance Program, also known as TAP. And then lastly, while at UCLA, I've been involved with a couple of things, one being the Filipino Transfer Student Partnership. So very specific to me, Filipino transfer, combining the two, it's a community for me, it's a home base for me here at UCLA. I was chairperson for that last year. I still continue delving into acting, being a part of LCC, Asian American Theater Company, have a lot of experiences with them, really cool. Of course, I'm a STOMP coordinator for y'all today, sharing my experiences as a transfer and at community college. I continued working as a campus tour guide as well last year and during the pandemic, giving virtual and in-person tours here at UCLA. And then lastly, last spring, I got involved with UCLA Radio, a student media group here at UCLA, a part of their news department, something I just want to delve into and kind of explore as a career option. But with that said, again, there's many available opportunities at community college, at UCLA, the whole transfer process itself. Feel free to ask questions and we'll definitely try to answer as much as possible at the end. But with that, I'll pass it to Kelsey.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That's definitely hard to follow and hard to beat, but a little bit about me. My name is Kelsey and I'm a double major with communications and gender studies, and I transferred from the College of San Mateo. And I'm just super excited overall to be presenting this panel to you guys today because when I was in high school, I never really was presented community college as an option. I had no knowledge of the CC route, but now I can say that I am a proud product of the CC system. And I'm super happy to be here with you all today. Like I said, I am a product of the CC system, but I originally went to Loyola Marymount University, a 4-year university. So I kind of have experience with the 2 routes that Erica mentioned previously. And I can say that I am most proud to come from CC, and I think it was the most beneficial route to me. So during my time at College of San Mateo, I was involved with the Honors Project, which is the honors program at CSM. And there I was really able to challenge myself academically. I was able to get involved with research projects, some of which I presented at outside research conferences and some of which is now published in academic journals, which is something to really boost your resume as a competitive applicant when applying to UCs. In addition to that, I was also involved with 2 honor societies, one of which I held a leadership position in as an academic coordinator. So that was great to kind of meet other students and really gain that leadership experience. I was also involved in the Writers Project, which is a club on campus that works to produce and publish our school magazine. And then I was also a tutor in the Learning Center, which was a great way to work with other students and support them on their academic journeys, especially during the pandemic. Here at UCLA, in addition to being a STOMP coordinator, I am a part of the Alumni Scholars Club, which is a club that funds scholarships for students. I'm on the outreach committee there, so we work to welcome incoming freshmen and transfer students into our club, and our club really focuses on leadership and academic opportunities. I'm also a tutor with School on Wheels, an organization that aims to support students and children experiencing homelessness. this upcoming fall, I'm going to start my departmental honors research project, which I'm super excited about. And in addition to that, I'm a part of Greek Life and the Panhellenic Sexual Violence Committee. So with that said, I really just want to emphasize that community college was a really great option for me, and it led me to pursue my dream of becoming a Bruin, something that I wasn't able to, accomplish in high school, coming out of high school, but CC provided me the opportunity to do so. And with that said, I'll pass it over to Maddie.
All right, thank you so much, Kelsey. That was awesome. Hello again, everyone. Once again, my name is Madison Wade. I'm entering my my second year here at UCLA. I'm a biology major and a biomedical research minor. And similar to what Kelsey said, back in high school, I never really considered community college as an option. I'm pre-med, which means I want to go into medical school and pursue being a doctor. So in high school, I just really wanted to go straight into a four-year university. UCLA was always my dream school, so I really just wanted to go straight to UCLA, do my 4 years there, and then move on to my further education after that. And I really had everything planned out. But then when I applied to UCLA out of high school, I did not get in. And that was really hard to deal with at first because I had never considered community college as an option at all. And now it was my only option left. So I did, of course, decide to take that route to be able to try to transfer again into UCLA 2 years later. And obviously that was successful for me. I was able to get into UCLA the second time around, but honestly, community college was so much more to me than just a second choice and just, being able to get to my dream school. Community college was such a necessary part of my life, I feel. And it was really a time where I feel like I grew a lot, both as a student and as a person. And back in high school, I was pretty shy. I didn't participate much in the classroom, or I wasn't really involved in too many extracurricular activities. But by the time I got to community college, it was so welcoming and there's so much support there. And the fact that, your class sizes are a lot smaller, it really gave me the confidence to be able to step outside my comfort zone a little bit. And as you can see on the screen, I started and was president of a pre-med club on campus there. And starting a club and being president of a club was something I could have never dreamed of, but that was something I felt comfortable enough doing at community college, stepping outside my comfort zone and taking that leadership role, starting a club. So that was a really great experience and was honestly one of the highlights of my time there at community college, was creating that community amongst other pre-med students, since we had so much in common. And additionally, at community college, I was treasurer of a research and biology club, which was really great as well. And I was a part of the honors program there, which I highly recommend, since it really helps make you stand out on your application to try to get into a UC school from community college. So definitely look into your school's honors program. And here at UCLA, I am, of course, a STOMP coordinator. I love the STOMP program. We're all very strong transfer advocates. And additionally, I am president of a transfer med club here on campus, which is pretty similar to the pre-med club I started at my community college, where it's for people pursuing a career in medical school, and but it's specifically for transfer students here at UCLA. So we all have a lot in common. We all have a great community, and UCLA is really great about that. And additionally, I am a member of the American Medical Women's Association Club, which is once again a very medical-based club, but focusing on emphasis on women in medicine. So that's a really great club as well. And then lastly, I am involved in research here at UCLA. I want to be a dermatologist, so I'm really fascinated by skin cancer, and the research I do is for melanoma, which is a type of skin cancer. So yes, just overall, I cannot emphasize the community college route enough, because I truly don't think I would have been able to succeed as well at UCLA if I had come straight in, which was, of course, my original plan. I truly feel everything happened for a reason, and that I needed that time at community college to really grow and prepare for UCLA, and same goes with other UCs as well. So now I will pass it back to Deanna, who is going to facilitate our Q&A. We're going to answer some of your guys' questions.
All right. Well, thank you, Giorgio, Kelsey, and Maddie, for sharing your transfer experience and your journey with us. As you can all see and heard, right? Everyone sort of like had different, plans coming out of high school, but they are very, thankful that they found, the transfer route. So we do have a few questions lined up, and I think one of them that came up was, you have mentioned all your involvement within the community college as well as UCLA. So one of the questions was, did you do all of these extracurriculars while at community college? And I'll pass it to Georgia to answer this question.
Yeah, so I knew kind of like, or actually a little bit different from Kelsey and Maddie. I didn't look as community college as like, or something while in high school, I always kind of thought of it as a first choice because my brother actually went to community college first. So from his experiences, I knew that I really wanted to get involved while I was there, really make sure I stand out as an applicant while transferring to a UC straight from the get-go. So as soon as I did get into community college, I again got really involved, really talked to my counselors about my 2 years there, really outlining what I want to do, both academically, socially, and then through that, I grew a lot personally as well. So all those curriculars that I did mention in the very beginning, I discovered along the way. I would say that definitely the Promise program is what kind of made me exposed to all of those programs and extracurriculars available at CC, because through the peer mentorship, which is such a valuable experience, hearing from other students, hearing from coordinators like us, like how else would you know about this kind of information? For me, hearing it from my first year Promise mentor is what really, again, exposed me to these extracurriculars. And through there, kind of like Maddie, I just gained the confidence to eventually just start pursuing those things myself. That's how I discovered study abroad. That's how I eventually discovered I was eligible for not just one, but 3 associate's degrees and a certificate as well. And through that carried on to me, even when I transferred out to UCLA, that kind of just confidence I carried here again, knowing that I could put myself first, knowing that I could confidently put myself out there, even if I only have 2 years here and I didn't have exactly the 4-year experience. I knew I could still establish myself in these spaces here at UCLA.
Awesome. Thank you, Georgia, for answering that. One other question that we have for you all, if you could talk a little bit about the support services or programs, right, that were available to students at your community college. Did you utilize them, such as like tutoring, academic advisors, and the list can go on. And we can get started with Kelsey.
Yeah, of course. I think community college in general is just a huge support system. Mainly for me, I would say working with the supervisors in my honors program, including David Laterman, our guest speaker, as well as the seminar teachers. They were a huge support system, not only in supporting my research endeavors and collaborating on my research projects, but also just in general supporting my transfer journey, both personally and academically. In addition to that, I would say working with counselors is also a great option. From the start, I set up that meeting with my counselor to plan my 2 years at CC so that I can ensure that I hit and take all the classes that I needed to in order to transfer on my personal timeline that I wanted to achieve. So I think there are a lot of great resources. I know Deanna mentioned tutoring. I was a tutor, so I was able to help other students. So if you definitely need that extra academic help, that's a great resource to take advantage of. And then also there's a lot of identity-based resources. So once you find, I would say put yourself out there and find the resources that definitely best fit you.
Great, thank you, Kelsey, for that. So we are getting a few questions that are related sort of to the application process, some of the requirements as well. So there is one, if you all have any recommendations for the application process, as well as to sort of like what to include within the PIQ. So Maddie, are you able to take on this question?
Yeah, I can definitely try to give some advice I have especially since I went through the application process twice, once in high school and then once again in community college. I would say when it comes to the personal intent questions, Definitely, obviously everyone says, oh, make them unique, and although that can get repetitive, it is ultimately the truth. You know, they are reading so many applications. So just try to find something about yourself that really stands out, and whether it was a specific passion you had, or whether it was a volunteer opportunity that really, you know, changed your perspective on something, or whether it was a club you got involved with at community college, or like me, if you started a club and then gained a lot of leadership experience. I would just say to really utilize your time spent at community college and really get involved with as many things as you can, because then you'll have a lot to talk about in your essays, and then they will see that and then be like, wow, this person really took advantage of everything their school had to offer. Like, this seems like someone we want to accept into our school. So I would say definitely start, you know, early on when you first start community college and get involved. And there's so many resources to get involved with. And then that will ultimately make your application and your essays that much stronger.
Thank you, Maddie, for taking on that. That is some great advice. So we're almost coming to an end. So one of the last questions that I do have for you all is, how was it transitioning from community college to UCLA, and any tips that you may have? So we can get started with Giorgio, then go on to Kelsey and Maddie.
Definitely. Like I said earlier, all the confidence I kind of carried with me began at community college. That kind of just really hit the ground running and looking for the things I could get involved with. I started building those kind of skills while at community college. And definitely during my year was during the COVID year where everything was completely online. And as much as that sucked and I was grieving for it for a long time, because this is something I wanted since I was in high school, I still took the time while online to still look out for the many things that are available at UCLA. That's how I got involved with the Filipino Transfer Student Partnership that I mentioned. They had an internship that winter quarter I got a part of and met a bunch of cool friends. That's when I got involved with LCC, Asian American Theater Company. And through that, I was able to be a part of improv. I was available to be a part of their one acts, their quarterly shows. And then also too, I even applied to campus tours at the time and got a job where I started giving virtual tours at UCLA. Even though I never stepped foot on campus as a UCLA student yet, I learned how to do it virtually. And even as a Stomp volunteer at the time, I wasn't coordinator yet, but I still got involved with Stomp because I discovered it through PTSP, through a friend who mentioned it and mentioned that they're looking volunteers for the annual conference that we have. So I knew I wanted to give back to the transfer community and the community college route. So I got involved then. So as I mentioned, the whole putting yourself out there in community college and just getting yourself familiar with that will carry over, and making sure and will ensure that you're a confident student no matter wherever you end up transferring. UCLA, a CSU, a private university, or even just life in general, it'll carry over no matter where you go in life.
Yeah, I definitely agree with everything that Giorgio said. For me, to be honest, I was a little bit nervous to enter UCLA. You know, as much hard work as I put into the past 2 years at CC, once I actually got in, I was like, oh shoot, I actually have to go. I have to leave home. I'm such a homebody and I love my family. So actually having to go and put myself out there was definitely a little bit scary for me. But I think one of the biggest things that helped me was just the people at UCLA. I think the transfer community there is so special. As we mentioned, 1 in 3 students at UCLA are transfer students. And so whether you're sitting in a classroom or at club activities, you'll see other transfer students there. And no matter if you're a transfer or non-transfer student, you get treated the same. People don't know you're a transfer student unless, like for me, I always mention it like the first thing when I introduce myself. I'm like, hi, I'm Kelsey, I'm a transfer student, just because I'm so proud. But I think in general, like the people, the community is so amazing and welcoming. And I would also just say, put yourself out there. You know, you only get what you put into it. So before I even stepped foot on campus, I was looking for clubs to join that really aligned with my interests and things that were similar to things that I did in CC. So like the Alumni Scholars Club, that was very similar to an honor society called Alpha Gamma Sigma at CC. So I joined that, and I definitely get the same vibes from the people there. And they really just made me feel more welcomed and really ease the transition into UCLA. So I think no matter where you go, as long as you put yourself out there, you're going to have a great time.
Yes, and I love everything that both Kelsey and Giorgio said. I agree with everything they said. And just to add on to it, yeah, I completely agree that I feel like my transition into UCLA wasn't like as scary as I thought it was going to be. I definitely was really intimidated. Oh my gosh, I'm starting UCLA soon. How is it going to be? How is it going to be different from community college? And honestly, I truly feel community college prepared me so well for UCLA that my transition into UCLA was not nearly as scared or nearly as hard as I expected it to be. Overall, I would say it was pretty smooth. And some advice I have for ensuring that it's smooth for you guys is usually like the first week of school, there's like a club rush, club fair, where all the clubs have a booth and you can go around and see what different clubs are there and what you want to join. And what I was so surprised and happy to see was that there were so many clubs at UCLA, and same with other UC schools, I'm sure, that they were specifically for transfer students. Like we have Stomp, which is specifically for transfer students, and my club that I'm now president of, but was just a member of last year, Transfer Med, which was for people who are pre-med and are transfer students. And then there's a whole bunch of others. There's ones for people who are pre-law and transfer students. And then there's one for just like so many, to where you can always find something that you connect with. And there's such a strong transfer community at UCLA, and there's even like a transfer center where right on campus, like right in the center of campus, there's a center for transfer students. So I would say just really trying to get involved with those, because then you meet people who are on the same path as you, experiencing all the same, you know, fears and worries that you're experiencing. And then through connecting with them, you realize that, you know what, we're actually good. It's not that bad. We're making it work. We're here, we're succeeding, and everything ends up being good in the end. So I would definitely say to take advantage of the many transfer resources that the UCs have.
That is such great advice. Thank you again to the three of you for sharing your experience. As you all can hear, it can be scary. It could be a bit nerve-wracking, right? But again, you have a whole community behind you. You have resources, programs that are available for you. So definitely take a look at them, take advantage of them, because again, we're all here to support you and guide you through this process. So I know we've gone a little bit over, and we do have a lot of pending questions as far as like requirements, such as like tag and tab. So I do want to encourage you all to contact us. So in the chat, we did put a link for you to contact one of the UCLA reps. We have reps that represent all of our high schools as well as community colleges. So reach out to us, and you can email us to ask us those questions in regards to requirements. We're always here again to support you and, like I said, guide you along the process. So with that, I want to pass it on to Giorgio to close the event.
Awesome. Again, thank you all for attending, especially all you high school attendees. Thank you to David. Thank you to Annie. Thank you to the supervisors. Thank you to my co-coordinators for being here. But on to the next slide. Like we mentioned, we do want to really stay connected with each and every single one of you. So please feel free to reach out to us through Stomp Admission email or on our Instagram to be up to date with all of our information, or just take a little picture of our personal contact information. We definitely want to answer as many questions you all have. You know, there's still so many Q&A questions that we wanted to answer. We just don't have time. And on top of that too, there's a little feedback form that you can all fill out. So you can give some feedback to us Stomp coordinators, so that we can hear from you and what kind of future events you all want to see. On top of that, there's like a subscription list kind of where you can stay connected with us again and hear about future updates. But with all that said, again, thank you all for being here so much. This was recorded today as well, so feel free to check out our website soon. This will be uploaded as well if you want to refer back to this. But we will send out a little thank you email to all of our attendees with hopefully the link once that is uploaded. Yes, again, thank you so much for being here today. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Definitely stay connected. Don't be shy. We're here to answer any questions that you have. Definitely consider community college as a first choice if you haven't been already. Hopefully you had something, hopefully you took away something from today and are able to confidently apply yourself at community college and beyond. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.